Okay, good day. It's not evening anymore, as it's now. We are in April 21st, and this is our 11th meetup here in StartIt Center, StartIt AI Hub here in Novi Sad. Okay, somebody wants to join. Let me allow. And let me start sharing the screen. Okay, there. So for those that are first time here, a short introduction. My name is Dragan Spiridonov, and I'm an ambassador and the secretary for board of directors for Agentic Foundation since 3 weeks ago. So this is news also for the community that I wanted to share. And I'm a founder of Quantum Quality Engineering consultancy that bridges classical to agentic quality engineering principles. What we are doing at this meetups, we are showing how we are using agentic engineering approach into building applications, and per selection by our community, it was decided to implement solution for community social network platform. We initially started with the ADR, then PDR, so product requirements PRD, product requirements document, then created some architectural decisions record after that, and created implementation plan. And we are now somewhere at the phase 4. So let me start the application. So what I'm using Claude. I'm using Ruflow, that's rebranded from Cloudflow orchestration framework for agents in the cloud. And I'm using Agentic Quality Engineering Fleet. That's my open source project contribution to Agentic Foundation. So these are my set of tools, and I'm invoking Claude with dangerous skip permissions, alias I created like a DSP, so I don't need to type every time along. Okay, I forgot maybe to continue the session from previous time to see where we are. Let me admit somebody else is joining. Hey. Okay, let me just, minimize this. Okay. Okay, I don't want you to ask me anymore. So last time, let me check what we finished. It said it finished almost everything. So it finished scaffolding, shared infra, domain layer, infrastructure. It reports that it's done. So while we were talking last time, it said it finished. So if we are done, start both F and B and show me running app. But I suspect this will not be possible. That's why I will start another terminal with another instance of Claude to ask it to use the QE queen. Let me. I didn't try voice. Can I? Oh, let's see. Install it with. I first need to install. Okay, I have a shorter version. Whisper still works if needed. Okay, I will need to check why are the MCP servers failing. That's another thing to fix. Okay, it's starting now. Docker, Postgres, Redis via Docker, running the apps. Okay, it will probably Yeah, need to work on that for a while. Let's see. So investigate why both MCPs are failing. And while this one is working on that, let me start one more instance. Hello, guys. Don't worry, we already started. So yeah, and the third session. So for those that came late, in the previous meetup, our agents said that they finished the app based on the implementation plan, the community app that we were building for the last 5 or 6 meetups, based using the domain-driven development approach and architectural decision records to guide our development. And I'm trying now, I gave the command in the first session to try to build the app because it reported that it's done. They broke the CLI. So, with the latest Cloud install, they broke the CLI. Now scrolling, it's really hard to scroll when they cut. Okay. So when they cut it off. So it says like that it finished all the phases that we planned. So infrastructure, application, front-end, foundation features, integration, Docker, CI, CD, everything. Let's see what it built. But I wanted, why this one is trying to build the app, I wanted to ask, okay, I don't need it, Atlassian now running here. Failing our cloud flow. Okay, those two can fail. I need only QE fleet. Okay, let me check if the QE fleet is running. Yes, it's running. It's connected and it's running. So I will now use QE Queen to start a swarm of QE specialized agents to do a full quality analysis of the current status in our project, do code quality analysis, look for code smells, analyze code complexity, security, performance, QX, and product analysis. Code smells, security, product analysis. Okay. Also make sure to analyze our test suite and what's the coverage on all levels. Report all findings and save them in docs QE reports folder. Come on. The last one. Okay. Yeah, it took some time, but okay, that's not the folder that I wanted. Almost. Okay. So now I will do like the full analysis of whatever was done with this. So this is something similar or like a similar prompt I already run on the multiple open source repos and provided feedback to whoever was the owner of those repos or contributors there. So it can provide a full analysis. So let's do it like that while this one is still working on fixing the build. So it's matching the. Oh, I didn't check which model it's running now because they updated also the effort in the model, and that's also a thing. With again in the last week, maybe even 10 days. I don't know who is a heavy user of Cloud Code. It definitely was misbehaving, and I needed to intervene more often than previously. And that's again confirming whenever they are deploying a new model, just before deploying a new model, looks like they are experimenting. And just after deploying the new model, now with the Opus 4.7 model, it takes some time for system to get its equilibrium and continues working properly. Okay, needs to run from the project root. So it's creating now a script to run the project. Okay, interesting. Registering paths with the base config, but it should use the Docker. Why didn't you use the Docker? So let me, what's, no, let's see. Maybe it's running. So it's running here something, but there are errors. So it is trying to start the app, but there are errors. And it's probably confused now with this. Let's leave it. Somebody else is joining. Let them in. So I will leave this one running while this one, okay, going here. So this one will now initiate multiple parallel agents that are part of the QE, Agentic Quality Engineering Fleet, or AQE short. And each of these agents will be invoked from the cloud, but using the definitions that you get when you initialize Agentic QE Fleet in your project. So in .cloud folder, in agents, I have a combination here of Ruflo and my agents, but in V3 folder, you have the 53 QE agents on this level, and there is 7 sub-agents that are like specialized agents for TDD approach and refactor. All of these agents, again, for those that are first time here, are also benefiting from QE skills available. There are 70 plus skills that you get. And one of the latest skills that I created and that we will use if we manage to start the UI of the app is this one. This is the new QE browser skill I created this last week, I think, that is based and using the Vibium as a runner for UI tests. As Vibium is slowly maturing, for those that are not familiar, creator of Selenium, Jason Huggins, most of you are probably familiar with Selenium, one of the frameworks for UI automation. He created now a Vibium, agentic friendly framework for automation, and it's exposed to the MCP server. It's a minor, so comparing it, why not keeping the Playwright? Because originally I used Playwright and Agent Browser to run the UI test in my skills. This is like a much smaller fingerprint, so it's like a 10 megabytes binary compared to 300 megabytes of the Playwright installation. And it uses the WebDriver BD. So it's more future-proof for other browsers that are not that heavily dependent on the Chromium that's needed for the Playwright system. And yeah, we will check that later. Let's see what are these agents working on. And let's see if maybe if somebody has some questions. So right now we have like 8 agents running in parallel. And let's see if my system will respond. Come on. Let's check. Yeah, but it's not that heavy usage. Usually it's much bigger. So it's trying to start some image. What's this? So it uses external, not Docker in Docker. Okay, I will need to check why it's using the external one. Okay. Any questions while we are waiting for the app to build? Okay, Postgres is reachable. Updating. You should be able to update it, but okay, let's see what you will do. Definitely CLI broken in terminal. So that's maybe I can file a bug to Claude repo later. Looks like this. Which version? Let me check which version we are. Look, this is good. We have this on video, and let's check what is the version that we are running. Okay, come on. No, totally killed it. Let's open a new terminal. If it decides to work, or maybe I need to kill the whisper now. Today, demo gods. Ah, local and okay, nothing exposed. Good. 10 background tasks. That's why. Okay, so let's check Claude version. Let's see which version is broken. 2.1.1.16. So I updated today, so it looks like they managed to broke it. Yesterday it was working okay. And let me see if I will manage now to show you the background tasks, because Swarm is working there. Okay. So a number of agents. Let's check, for instance, this one. And let's see. No, we cannot see the prompt. That's a problem now with these changes. We cannot see the original prompt, but we can see the agent is this specific agent that was started as a subtask is running for 5 minutes and already used 49K tokens and 13 tool calls while it's working on analyzing test coverage. Okay, let's go back. Maybe. Yeah. Let's leave it and see if this one is startup. Okay, let's check if the startup, not that. Here. Let's check what's happening. Detect read error. Let's see. Looks like it started the app without the error. Okay. Report. Yes. While this is working, any questions? Something to share with the community while this is working. I decided to open source one more project that I've been using personally as my self-learning system. I called it Nagual. Why? Sometime when I was young, 30 plus years ago, I was reading Carlos Castaneda, and Nagual is vast unknown that surrounds all of us. We are tonal, or the island of known, and we need to collect all the knowledge that surrounds us. So that's why I call the system self-learning system, or like a knowledge system, Nagual, to try to collect that knowledge around us. And it's based on the RuVector Rust implementation. I have working app working with my private version. This is something that I just publicly released when? Couple of hours, 3 hours ago, or maybe if I reload, let's see if it will update. So yeah, this is freshly deployed today. What's a good thing? It's you can deploy it to Google Cloud. There is like a easy instructions how to do that for your agent. I will show now the architecture of the system. And one more thing that's interesting is that I provided like seeding data exported from my private instance, like more than 500 quality engineering patterns collected already in the previous 2 months. So you can import them in the system and start from there and then continue collecting. I will show how to use the system. It's really easy. So how the system works. Nagual exposes APIs that you can use to sign in, to log in into your application and store, search knowledge in the database, retrieve knowledge. And you will get, when you are doing the search, you will get the scored results as everything is saved is in a hyperbolic space. So this is like a hyperbolic vector database, not like a standard Euclidean plane approach. It is using this as a learning loop. So all outcomes are recorded. Then the Bayesian scores are being updated. It will record if there is some drift happening with the patterns that are being stored. If it's failure, it will, classified specifically and then do a consolidation, deduplication, and merging of the near duplicates. And if then, promote if there is like a merge of multiple patterns that are similar and can be merged. And then there is this knowledge operating system implemented on top of that that provides, and it can be, integrated as a subsystem. Yeah. Where did the pattern come from? Who has attested the pattern quality? What changed when, by whom, and so on and so on. So yeah, you have the serve, and there is a dashboard available for those. What was really interesting for me when I was creating this was building, as this should be a self-learning system, you should give it a constitution in order to follow and not derail and not misbehave. So this is a description of the constitution, but it also has the implementation in the code that supports this immutable core. So what are the prime directives of the system? That it will seek truth about all else. And that's not, what is convenient, and it's not what is popular, but what is. So, giving this kind of instructions, philosophical instructions to the system also gives like a certain emergent behaviors that are maybe not expected if you just use the vanilla LLMs. And grounding it in like a philosophical view from the book itself. And Castaneda's writing this is like a Don Juan's journey, one of the books. Then partnership. So this is also really important. It needs to coexist with humans and to amplify the human capability, not to replace it, as we are building this together. And the user is a partner and creator through impeccability. So great means solutions that genuinely help. And that's also some of the philosophical stance engraved in this. So epistemic humility, do not harm and actively do good. Transparency of thought, always show the reasoning, no hidden agendas. So to prevent the mythos, running away or something like that. And then Warriors optimization loop. This is the one that I also love. Optimize, visioner, and explore. So it's not, we need to think always what has no one ever thought of before to see if we can surface some new and emergent findings from the patterns that we collect. And then there are some operational rules on top of that. Learning covenant, what and how it should remember and improve, and like observe, store, learn, consolidate, emerge, and this is the feedback loop, and it should grow clean and efficient with all this. So it says the warrior spot is a harmony between tonal and nagual, and yeah. So I love this, and it gives me goosebumps as I'm reading. And this was created specifically for me. I don't know whoever will uh, agree with this philosophy, but maybe you can use it as an example to build on top of that. So this is something that I will share in the links also with whoever applied on the Luma event will get this later. Okay, looks like it managed to. Frontend not started yet. Why not? So, okay, check. Sorry. I will turn off. This will also. So check API status and start frontend. Today, it's still running. These guys are taking more than usual. This should, so I think, and I will again probably say something that, okay, it's recorded, so whatever. So I'm on max subscription for Cloud account, and they are now reducing the speed of responses for all those that are on the subscriptions in favor of those that are using API access, especially during working hours, US based working hours. And that overlaps right now with the peak summer in the West Coast. It's like 9 a.m. or something like that, 9:30 in the West Coast. So they're starting to work there. And then I'm also noticing how that's a good time to do a break for me or to switch a model. So this is also a time to change a model. As a backup, I'm using, that's also something that I'm repeating for those that are constantly here, they know. I have a Z.ai account that is providing me with GLM accounts. So the latest is GLM 5, 4.7 or 4.6 previously used. And I even tried 1 month playing with the Alibaba coding subscription that provided access to not only GLM but Kimi models and Minimax models. So those are all like top-notch open source Chinese models. What I noticed is that Olama recently added support. So through Olama Cloud, you have access to all these new models. I just got notification today. They just added support for the new Kimi 2.6 that is showing significant improvements in the long-running processes and coding tasks, and that's on my list to try. But I'm waiting for some new hardware to arrive to start running my local models more, as I'm started recently helping also and testing on hardware. What I'm helping with, like 10 days ago, I started helping Ruven with the new smart chip, and now my desk looks like have couple of extensions for USBs, 4 or 5 in parallel Cs connected and ESP devices, and testing hardware now. And that's another challenge using agents and agentic approach. So how to use the cloud to test the hardware that's locally connected and that's running on your local network. And then, let's see somewhere, but those are challenges that, I'm currently working on. So yeah, that will be something to share. And I will maybe see when the device is, ooh, you crashed. Why did you crash? Nice. And I will assume, let me check if the Docker, but it's not using too much memory. So why did the instance crashed? And it's not using too much CPU also. Usually when I'm running this much agents in parallel, they will eat up much more CPU. So I would say that yeah, I will need to now close the VS Code instance and run it again. But I will leave it some more time because the agents are still working. So this is just the VS Code instance crashed. The VS Code server crashed while the Docker container in which the instance was running is still running. And I can see that it's still active quite heavily. And yeah, it's reading and writing. So I will stop this instance because I think this one was the one that it was building the app. So let me check. Yeah, this was preparing the app backend and database. Let me just hide. Okay. And oh, that's why you started this also in a not protected. Okay. I see a couple of problems. I think my dev container, oh yeah, that's the old dev container configuration. That will not use Docker in Docker. So, okay, I know what's the problem. VS Code instance that I was running, and I can show you now what the problem is. So let me just start the app again. I stopped the backend frontend running in the Docker. And I know what's the problem. One line in the dev container exposes or mounts my local Docker inside the instance instead of using Docker in Docker that I have configured. And I updated that in the new dev containers, but as this is dev container that we are running for then more than 6 months, looks like I will need to rebuild it again. And yeah, I will show you as soon as the VS Code starts working, I can show you where the problem is. So for the next meetup, I will probably rebuild my Docker. So it runs Docker in Docker, not using my local instance, because when it tries to use the local instance, it's not using the limits. I don't know if you noticed when I was running, it was using like a full 16 gigabytes that's available to the Docker instance itself. But my dev containers are configured to use only 8 gigabytes, so I can run like at least two in parallel on my 20 gigabyte Mac Air, and it still, cannot connect. Okay, yeah, give it some time. Or maybe I will need to kill some other process. Probably I will, yeah, well, let's leave it, what can I show you? Or no, I wanted to, so my mistake was trying to run both things at one and the same time, and it's starting again, this Docker, you see, probably when running the tests. So let me kill now completely the instances and kill the Docker. That's the only thing that will help. Kill the Docker, kill the dev pod, kill everything, Dragan. Just kill everything. And start again, it will be much faster. So, first dev pod, then Docker, today. And now start the app. But definitely something is working. What is this? Okay, that's expected. That's the local host. Zoom. Okay. Screen sharing, yeah. A lot of stuff. Let's maybe close some of the windows, and I have a number of running in the backend. Okay, let's see if it will now behave. Any questions while we are waiting for the VS Code to recover? Come on, remote today. Maybe the internet here also. But this is local. Extensions, no, okay. It needs some time. So the problem is in this file. So the dev container has Docker in Docker as one of the features that will install automatically. But this mount is what's exposing the local Docker to this instance. So I will need to rebuild it. I removed this in all new dev container instances. So this is what will devpod use to create a Docker container to run this VS Code instance in. So, okay, let's try to run the app again. Let's see in which session it will. What's happening? Is it really this slow? Okay. I will definitely need to restart my Mac. It was running for 2 weeks or more. Continue the session? Not to continue. Better not to continue the session. I don't know in which session we will end up. I will run those QA analysis next time. Let's see if it's managed even to save. No, nothing, only the folder and the empty folder. So it didn't manage to do anything. Let's repeat the command. Come on. Not this one. Okay, let's see now. I wanted to show the running app. So let's see if we will manage to see, even if it has a lot of bugs. So second try. Let's kill some of the browsers. Kill. Okay, yeah, I need to kill that later. While this is coming, I'm not sure that I will. So I also did only one meetup in April. So I think I will manage only one meetup in the next months, as in May. On 6th of May, I will be a guest in Belgrade StartIt Center. Like we are doing a check-in after 4 months after the first meetup in Belgrade. Then the conferences, so Expo QA in Madrid, like the last week of May, and then 1st May of June, it's a CraftConf conference in Budapest, and there will be a number of members from Agentics Foundation there, next to other big names in the dev industry. So while this one is again trying to start, so let's see if the craft conf. So yeah, let's see. Talks. Or maybe let me see if I can find myself. I'm not in the features, but some of the big names in the industry with Goiko. I will see also Goiko there, Ruven Foundation, Kevin Hinley. Some of them I know. Abby I followed. Uh, Luven Falco, I think I noticed. So there is like a lot of. Oh, Ken Beck will also be there. So it will be interesting to meet some of them. So myself, I will do a 90-minute hands-on workshop with Agentic QA Fleet showing how to build. Oh, Daniel North will be there also. I didn't notice. So this is now chairman of the Agentics Foundation, Robert Ransom, will be doing, and also Ruben Coing, whose most of the tools that I'm using from Agentics Foundation, he has built, even this new company. So a lot of really interesting names. So if somebody wants to join, I think we have still some discount codes. So you can send me a DM and I can send you some discount code for the CraftConf if you're interested to join that. That's in the beginning of the June, so 4th and 5th June, first week of June. Then in the September, we will have a meeting on a lake, Agentic Foundation AI Meetup in somewhere on the lake in Ontario. That's something that's planned. And after that, again in the fall, a season of conferences for me, starting with the HUSTEF. So I'm waiting for Frog program to become live, but that's already confirmed. I have a tutorial there and a regular talk. And after that, ISTA conference, that was a new conference. I didn't even know for this conference. This is the conference in Sofia in Bulgaria, and it's on 15 October. So this was new for me, and it has also some. It will be interesting program. It's a one-day conference, maybe some tutorials before that, but it's close by. So Sofia is not that far away. So Hustef. It's still not, the program is still not live, but a week before, beginning of the October in Budapest again. So for those that would like to hear more about the testing. And then after that one, Agile testing days, I'll be doing full day tutorial, hackathon, and a regular talk. So, three things this year by myself in November. So let me see if I can find it. Oh, there I am. Yeah, 3 sessions. So full day tutorial on the Monday, then hackathon in the evening of the Wednesday, and then the Thursday talk, the quality cost of the AI Vamper, because that is based on my article that I've written and that resonated a lot with the community, because when you are juggling with multiple parallel projects where agents are working on code, writing code and testing code, your quality gets drained really fast. So and it's not only that the employees are expecting of employers expecting from employees to produce more in the same time period. So, you're expected to deliver more. Now you have tools. So why don't you deliver more? And that leads to taking shortcuts, but not only by agents. Now humans also start taking shortcuts. So PRs will be approved without really somebody looking at them and things. So, those are things to watch out when working with this. So let's see if this will finally make to build the app in the end. So yeah, this will be an interesting year. And I will try at least also during the summer to keep at least one monthly, if not live from here, maybe like a Zoom link. So if I'm traveling or something, I will also maybe try to keep at least. And we already use the Zoom to record these sessions. So if I'm not available to do the in-person event, we will at least try to do online event. Today, there are not that much questions. Maybe I can ask those that are online if there are some questions. Let me escape to see if there are some chat. Chat, no questions. If the guys are still there or joined. Okay, let's see. Yes, you started it. Backend, frontend, come on. Almost there. You did it last time. Yeah, definitely. I don't have now a tracker tool to show, but it probably works slower than usually, at least compared to my mornings. That's why I'm trying to work more in the mornings before 2 p.m. and then more resting and reading and some learning and some other stuff that are not agent related. And I have a number of meetings in the evening, so that's working with Agentics Foundation. We have a meeting. I'm in Serbia. It's their noon, but it's always my 6 p.m. or 5 p.m. or those like late afternoon. Okay, did you manage? Now it's fixing. Same class of bug. So I love it when agents say that they are done, and then it takes half an hour to fix the build before it starts. Last time, in half an hour, it produced 150 files. Now it cannot start the application in half an hour. Yeah, maybe I need to go back to the Sonnet model instead of Opus. Ooh, that's an idea. Huh. Let me try something.
We are there. Did you try hierarchical organization of agents using different models, organizing them in silos?
Yeah, I already have that implemented also, and I have the advisor system. So some of the agents, especially those that need to work on the complex solutions, like a QA text architect, let me show you that. They are using different models. Default model should be Sonnet 4.6 when the agents are started. So they don't start immediately with the best model. So they start depending on the complexity of the tasks again. Okay, if the QA test architect is working on preparing like a test plan and strategy, it needs to use some models that are more capable in thinking, and it will then use as an advisor. So that's like, let me find, there it is. It will then use advisor Cloud Opus 4.7. And this is something that is enabled only for a couple of agents. I think only 8 agents from this 60 in the fleet, because there is no need for each of them. They can work with lower level models. Like test generation, if it's a simple task, it will even use the Haiku models. So the Agentic QA fleet has the 3-tier or something that's called like a tiny dancer. That's like a smart router that routes the task based on the complexity on the different models. So that's how it's saving tokens when it's working on the tasks that are lower complexity. So yeah, I can even show that. Oh, where I can, oh, I know where I can show that. I need to find my notebook. Let me show you that. I don't want to start another instance. Let me close this and maybe close this and close this. And now, what did I want it? I'm sorry? Yeah. Notebook LM. Yeah. That's good to create for the. I'm using like I just give it like a repo and release notes, and then grounded in that I create something like this. Let me show you this. So this was okay. What the QE fleet does, how it works. So QE coordinator is working through 13 different operational domains and organizing agents and skills. Supports 11 platforms. This is how the flow works. Okay, this is how it learns. Because it collects the patterns. That's also something that I was showing previously. Where is the tiny dance router? Looks like it's not. Oh, sorry, not in this one. In the previous one. A lot of releases. Let me check if this one has the tiny. This one. Yes. So, depending on the complexity of the task, it will select different model but that's when the sub-agent is running. So code will invoke some of the QE agents as subtasks, and QE queen allocating the task will say, okay, use this model because this type of task is a lower complexity. Okay. I'm going back to see if this one works. So yeah, some of the agents will use this advisor. So meaning if they are working with a lower level, they will ask for higher level, higher thinking level agent for advice to assess the results of whatever their deliverables are while working. Okay, puff. Ooh, how can we sign in? The app is working. Let's see. Which credentials I can use to log into app. We have a demo. I want to show app working. And there will be bugs, but again, a good example to show how to catch the bugs. With the next, I tried too much, so I gave it like into terminal, and it, so what it says. Okay, register me a user then. Clean data, no users. 500, it didn't manage. Error. And yeah, now we will continue fixing this. Real bug. Don't say. Looks like, let me try now to say model. Give me sonnet, but not 1 million, just regular. Just give me regular sonnet. Nice. Now, do this. Let's see. If we are in this model should be faster, it should finish. Yeah, let's see. Why Cloudflow CLI? Use AQE Fleet MCP or CLI. Okay, I need to check in the configuration. But you shouldn't be dependent on this package. Yes, I know you shouldn't be dependent. Let me see, what are you calling? There, I know MCP is working for your agentic QA fleet. We saw that it's working. Fleet is ready. Now fleet should start working. And then it should start storing some data while agents are working. So for those that are first time here, agentic QE fleet, as they are working, will start collecting the data in memory DB if it decides to load. And as it's working, it will, capture different experiences. Let's see, this is an old database. I don't know if this collected. Yeah, that one is not good. Okay, this is good. Did it dreamed? Yes, it dreamed. Some insight, definitely. So it found some novel associations. So that's also a thing. I have a dream engine where the system runs dreaming cycles. That's how we call them, to look for patterns that can be promoted. So those that are being reused multiple times, and those patterns can be then promoted with confidence, like 100, because I don't know if you see here, this is like a novelty score, but let me find the patterns. Patterns themselves. Patterns themselves. Not this one. This one. They have the confidence level. So what's the confidence level of certain pattern? If the pattern is being used multiple times and successfully used, let's see if this works. Looks like it didn't reuse patterns. So I didn't run QE fleet here. In my original, I have some patterns that are being repeated and their confidence will be increased if the pattern is being used and it produces good results. So different patterns will be learned as I'm running the fleet in these projects. So the last pattern we collected was a month ago, right? So more than like on 10th of 3rd. So it didn't collect it because we didn't run the QE fleet. So after this run of the QE fleet, I expect new patterns collected. And it's also storing, different vectors. Is this working? Oh, this one is not working here. I need to check why this one is not saving what I expect it to save. Yeah, it's only a couple of trajectories. Okay, one from today. This table is working. So, I need to update this project. Database better. Okay. But patterns are being saved and can be reused. And for those that, how this works, in .cloud, in settings.json, there are hooks that are invoked before tool use, after tool use. On the user prompt submit. So when I'm typing something, then it will try to route my task in this case, depending on the complexity of the task to different part of the system or different models that need to work on that. What to record when it's session start or if it's like a session stop, as I have, some additional checkpoints that are saving and storing the data. So yeah, a lot of hooks, and you can check either these hooks or helpers to check what they are working on. So those are some additional, let's say, Easter eggs for those that want to see and understand how the system works. Okay. Let's go back. This one is working, but didn't invoke what I expected. I will check later. Okay. Log in with, oh, there, demo CSN and user. So email. Where are we? Email and password. Let's try to log in. And it's not working. And it's working. And it's working. Yay! No! Okay, no design, no communities. Okay, of course, because we didn't create anything, but we have an app that we need to fine tune in the next sessions. But at least, we managed to start the front end, back end, and even though it's buggy, uh, use UI browser and look at all pages, check if the features we implemented are working. I will not do now any checks by myself. I will try to instruct the working report, fix problems as you find them, and report after all issues resolved. This will take some time. Let's see what this one is doing. This one is not doing what it was told. Okay, this is good agent. Okay, but why? Why did you? Why not run all UI agents with shared by UI win as requested? You started doing analysis by yourself. It's running 4 agents, but yeah, let's see which reports it created already. Code quality. And yeah, my apologies. You're right. Just burn, talk and burn. Oh, workaround needed. Okay. Yeah, it needs to, but you need to pull the latest Vibium. It has support for the ARM. I know, I run it. It's getting confused. Probably, oh, it needs to install the Chromium. Okay. Come on. Okay. Couple of agents. First area found. Setting up. Okay. Yeah, definitely. That definitely not behaving as usually. But at least we are getting some results, and I can show you the results that we are getting. But this is not how the report should look like. They should look like, let me show you how this should look like. They should look like this, as I'm running them regularly on my fleet. And I did one yesterday, I think. So docs. When I'm running, it looks like this. So I get like a full sum. Okay, I ask for more analysis here, but I get like a nice executive summary and overall table, and even with the delta, because I'm comparing now between different releases, so I can see if some let's say quality characteristics are degraded in the meanwhile with the changes that I did to the code, or I managed to improve some of the things with the changes I did. And I'm running this every couple of weeks after a number of changes to double check if. And then I'm doing one more round of fixes of the, again, top level issues. Let me check. So QE reports, PUP, code quality and complexity. Where is my preview? Preview. So this is true, DOS.js. This is how we went 7 domain-driven contexts, identity profile, content, social graph. Okay, nice. Broken two-factor authentication, critical count, complexity hotspot surfaced, cyclomatic complexity 18. Nice. So this is okay. Let's check the security audit. That one is always interesting to see. What was the security? Again, 3 critical. And you get this nice risk matrix to see what's really the likelihood and impact that these found issues. So we should probably start next session by fixing these critical findings. Okay, for development, this is not a problem. But admin has two-factor authentication, but it's bypassed. Right now, probably in order to start the backend and frontend, it decided just to bypass the two-factor authentication to show me that app is working. That's also, they took the shortest path to solution. So that's a common thing. You need to be really careful. Accepts client supplied admin ID. Okay. Okay, credential file is committed. Which? But those are examples. Why did you flag .NET and examples? Because they're not in Git, but they shouldn't be in the Git ignore. Huh. Only .n should be in Git ignore. This is flagged by security. I think I fixed that a couple of months ago. Maybe again with the changes. And I needed to apply so with the Opus 4.7, you will not be able to run security scans anymore using that model. If you don't ask for your case to be approved by Anthropic, and I did ask it to approve, and they approved it for me in half an hour. I ask, okay, people, I'm running like a QA security, QA penetration agents. I have like at least 5 or 6 agents and skills in the fleet that are doing different types of security checks on the code level. So I need to be able to run them. So I needed to ask for permission to be able to not be flagged by their model. And because what happened when I first tried to run, I noticed that I'm not getting the results as I expected them to get. So that's also a thing, you need to be careful, because if your implementation depends on the model and that is not part of your testing behavior, when the model changes its behavior, it can crash completely, your agent definitions that you are using to invoke the agents. Okay, some fun. Okay. Now it created master report at the end finally. So let's see what this executive summary says, because we definitely know there are problems here. So quality threshold failed because it should be at least 80. You can adjust this threshold. It's on. This is somewhere in the instruction. You can adjust this. So what's failed? Definitely security and test coverage. Those have the scores that are definitely below the thresholds. 6 critical, 3 security and code quality, and then different level of other. This is now just a summarized overview of what we saw. And this is like a heat map where most problems were in the admin and the GDPR part, right? Interesting. At least critical issues related. And then the security risk matrix, what should be. So it was covering the OWASP top 10, code quality metrics, test coverage. It did said, we have a lot of, but we still have failing tests. Probably that's why the score is lower, because we have more than 1K test cases. But what's not good? Let me see. Coverage for some of the layers are missing. So we don't have any for the front end. So that's what we should work on improving in the next meetups. And performance surfaced. Okay. And this is like a recommendation. Now, when I have this kind of report, I will just instruct I will clear the session and start with grounding the agent in this report and say, okay, go and fix me this top for 10 priority issues. And then verify again and verify and verify. And so on. So 1 hour and 15. So we managed. Oh, let me see what this agent. Going back to just give me a second to see, maybe the agent started the Vibium. It didn't start it. It's doing the other. Oh, it's fixing the bugs. So it started. Let me see if I can find the. So I ask it to use the QE browser skill that uses Vibium as a runner for agent in this case. Oh, it managed to work it. So it started working with the Vibium. Why did it break the CLI? Oh my God, I cannot find now. But I see now it's starting to fix controllers, broken links, finding the links that were initially developed with the wrong paths. So it's not posts, it's publications. And yeah. Was this okay? Post controller, fixing the controller. Oh, this should be live reloading with the white, right? Let's see. Oh, did it remember? Oh, it didn't remember. I didn't remember the password.
Add there.
Huh?
Need to scroll. You can use command space, command 4 to get the old copy paste.
Command space.
And command 4, I think, is going to bring you the old.
Clipboard.
No.
Allow clipboard. Why did you Dragan and not do that before? Because I didn't know how to do that on the Mac. So thank you for this.
It's fine.
Okay, yeah. I will leave it now to fix the problems. So because it's now verifying, you see what it's working on. So it's verifying login, registration, and other flows. So yeah, it's trying to fix while it's using the QE browser skill to see the results of the fixes. Yep. Okay. For those that are online, I will now stop the sharing as I usually do. Thank you, everybody, and see you next time. Bye.